Marcus Davis adjusted the blanket under the large oak tree while Janelle unpacked sandwiches from a cooler. Maya and Trevor chased each other around the grass, their laughter blending with the hum of families enjoying Memorial Day weekend. The park was alive, children giggling near the playground, vendors selling lemonade, and the scent of grilled burgers floating in the warm breeze. Marcus smiled as he watched his children play. It was a rare moment of peace after years of military service. He glanced at Janelle, who caught his gaze and winked. "Feels good to just breathe, doesn't it?" she said, passing him a bottle of water. "Best feeling in the world," Marcus replied, stretching out his legs. A few yards away, Roy Sanders sat alone on a folding chair. His cooler rested beside him, a half-empty can of beer sweating in the sun. He watched the park through narrowed eyes, focusing on families that didn't look like his. When his gaze landed on Marcus and his family, his scowl deepened. "Times sure have changed," Roy muttered to himself. Trevor's frisbee sailed through the air, spinning high before diving off course. It landed near Roy's blanket, just brushing the edge of his chair. Trevor froze, eyes wide. "Go on, Trev," Marcus encouraged. "Just grab it and say, 'Excuse me.'" Trevor hesitated but jogged over, reaching for the frisbee. "Figures," Roy sneered, kicking the frisbee aside before Trevor could grab it. "Can't even teach your kid to respect someone's space?" Trevor blinked, confused. I, I didn't mean to." Marcus was already on his feet, moving with the calm precision the military had drilled into him. He approached slowly, hands open and relaxed. "Sorry about that," Marcus said, voice measured. He picked up the frisbee, brushing off the grass. "Kids get excited. No harm done," Roy snorted. "Yeah, always no harm done till they start taking everything. Parks, geez, neighborhoods. What's next, my house?" Janelle, watching from the blanket, stiffened. Maya's laughter faded as she picked up on the tension. "Why's that man mad, Daddy?" Maya asked, tugging on Janelle's arm. Janelle forced a smile. "Some people get angry when they don't understand something, baby. Just ignore him." Marcus locked eyes with Roy, choosing his words carefully. "Sir, we're just here to enjoy a day with our kids. You enjoy yours and we'll enjoy ours." Roy's lips curled into a bitter smile. "Easy for you to say. Probably on welfare, living off my taxes." Marcus's jaw tightened. He breathed in slowly. Inhale, hold, exhale. Years of training told him not to engage, not to escalate. He turned away, walking back to his family. "Coward," Roy muttered, just loud enough to be heard. Janelle glanced at Marcus, concern etched into her face. "You okay?" Marcus nodded, kneeling beside Trevor. "You didn't do anything wrong, buddy. Some folks are just looking for a fight. Best thing you can do? Walk away." Trevor nodded, though his small shoulders slumped. The joy of play had drained from his face. The family tried to refocus. Janelle unpacked apple slices. Marcus tossed the frisbee gently with Maya. But Roy wasn't done. "First they take our jobs," he called out, voice rising. "Now they're taking our parks. What's next, huh? Gonna rename the place after Martin Luther King too?" Heads turned. A white couple on a nearby bench exchanged uncomfortable glances, but said nothing. A black teenager pulled out his phone and hit record. Marcus stood slowly, eyes fixed on Roy. "Sir, that's enough. You've made your point. Go enjoy your day and leave my family alone." Roy stood too, beer sloshing in his hand. "I'll enjoy my day when people like you remember their place." Janelle grabbed Marcus's arm, sensing the tension rising. "Marcus, don't. He's not worth it." But it was too late. Roy stepped closer, jabbing a finger into Marcus's chest. "Bet you talk a big game, huh? Probably never served a day in your life. Just another freeloader." Marcus' face remained stone cold, but his voice dropped, steady and sharp. 15 years, 2 tours, Sergeant First Class. I didn't just serve this country. I fought for your right to spew this garbage. But I'm not fighting you. Not today." Roy blinked, caught off guard, but embarrassment quickly turned to fury. "Yeah, right. Bet you were peeling potatoes while real men fought." Trevor's lip trembled. Maya clung to Janelle. And then it happened. Roy shoved Marcus hard enough to make him stumble back a step. The park froze. For a moment, Marcus did nothing. He stared at Roy, heart pounding in his chest, fists clenched at his sides. Every instinct screamed to react, to defend his dignity. But he didn't. He inhaled slowly, disciplined and overriding emotion. "I've fought real battles," Marcus said quietly. "This isn't one worth fighting." Before Roy could respond, a sharp voice cut through the tension. "Stand down, sir!" All eyes turned. A group of off-duty soldiers, dressed in casual clothes but unmistakable by their posture and demeanor, had been enjoying a Memorial Day veterans picnic on the other side of the park. Leading them was Sergeant Riley Matthews, her presence commanding despite the civilian attire. Riley strode forward, her gaze locked on Roy. "Back away from him. Now!" Roy blinked, stunned. "Who the hell are you supposed to be?" Riley pulled out her military ID, flashing it briefly. "Sergeant Matthews, United States Army, and you're about to regret every word that just left your mouth." Behind her, the other soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder. Black, white, Latino, male, female. A united front. Roy stumbled back, suddenly realizing he was outnumbered. "Wait, I didn't know he was... I thought..." Riley stepped closer, cutting him off. "You thought what? That a black man with his family couldn't belong in this park? That he didn't deserve peace after serving the country you claim to love? Walk away, while you still can." The teenager's phone was still recording. The white couple who'd stayed silent now stood, arms crossed, shaking their heads at Roy. Humiliated and sputtering, Roy grabbed his cooler and blanket, muttering curses under his breath as he trudged away. Silence lingered. Riley turned to Marcus, her stern expression softening. "Sergeant Davis, you good?" Marcus nodded, voice tight. "I'm good, Sergeant. Thanks for stepping in." "Always got your six," she replied. Janelle hugged Maya and Trevor tightly. "Daddy, why was he so mad at us?" Maya asked, voice trembling. Marcus knelt, brushing hair from her face. "Because some people only see what they want to see, but that doesn't change who we are. You hold your head high, always." Maya nodded slowly, squeezing her father's hand. The teenager with the phone lowered it, eyes wide. "Man," he muttered, "I didn't know you were military. Respect." Marcus gave a small, tired smile. "Respect doesn't come from a uniform. It comes from how you treat people. Remember that?" The park slowly returned to life. Laughter, music, the smell of grilled food. But something had shifted, a silent acknowledgement among the crowd. As the Davis family packed up their picnic, the elderly white woman from earlier approached. "I should have said something sooner," she admitted, voice heavy with regret. "I'm sorry." Marcus nodded, extending a hand. "Thank you. It's never too late to do the right thing." They shook hands. The family walked toward the parking lot, shoulders squared, heads high. Behind them, Sergeant Matthews watched, arms crossed. "Damn right it's never too late," she muttered, turning back to her picnic. The video of the encounter would go viral that night. But for Marcus Davis, the real victory was simpler. Walking away with his dignity intact, his family safe, and a reminder that courage comes not from confrontation, but from resilience. Marcus leaned back against the oak tree, the sun warming his skin as Janelle handed out sandwiches to Maya and Trevor. The kids giggled, Trevor taking a big bite while Maya teased him about crumbs on his shirt. Marcus smiled, soaking in the moment. This was what peace looked like. Simple, quiet joy with the people he loved most. After years of service, he'd learned to treasure these moments. But peace, he'd also learned, could be fragile. Across the park, Roy Sanders sat on a folding chair, cooler beside him, eyes narrowed. He watched the Davis family, his scowl deepening with each laugh that floated through the air. "Figures," Roy muttered under his breath, voice sharp with disdain. Trevor, unaware of the bitter eyes watching him, tossed a frisbee toward Maya. It sailed high, catching the breeze, before landing just inches from Roy's blanket. "Sorry, sir," Trevor called, running over. He bent down to grab the frisbee. Roy's boot landed on it first. "Watch where you're throwing your junk, boy," Roy snapped. Trevor froze. His small hands hovered near the frisbee, eyes wide. Marcus, already on his feet, moved toward them with calm, measured steps. "Hey, buddy," Marcus said gently, resting a hand on Trevor's shoulder. He looked at Roy, voice steady. "It was an accident, no harm done." Roy's lip curled. No harm. That's the problem with you people. Always acting like you own the place. Marcus inhaled slowly. He'd faced worse. He wasn't going to let this man ruin their day. Sir, we're just here to enjoy the park like everyone else. Let's not turn this into something it doesn't need to be. Roy snorted. Like everyone else? Please, you people get handed everything these days. Jobs, schools, welfare. And now, parks too? Marcus, Janelle called softly from the blanket, her voice edged with concern. Maya clung to her mother's arm, eyes darting between the men. Trevor tugged at his father's shirt. Dad, let's just go. It's not worth it. But Roy wasn't finished. Go back to where you came from, he barked, standing now, face red with anger. This park's for real Americans. Marcus stood his ground, jaw tightening. He'd heard those words before, in high school, in boot camp, in small towns where his uniform didn't protect him from ignorance. I served this country for 15 years, Marcus said quietly. I've bled for the flag you're hiding behind. Roy laughed bitterly. Yeah, sure you did. What were you, the janitor on base? Cleaning floors while real soldiers did the work? Janelle stood, pulling Maya and Trevor behind her. Her usual grace was gone, replaced by quiet fury. Our taxes pay for this park, just like yours, she snapped. Sit down, enjoy your day, or leave us the hell alone. Parkgoers paused. Some glanced over and quickly looked away. A white couple on a nearby bench whispered but didn't move. A teenage boy, black and wearing earbuds, pulled out his phone and started recording. An elderly white woman, walking her dog, hesitated before stepping closer. Let's all just enjoy the park, she offered, voice gentle but firm. There's no need for trouble. Roy sneered. Bet you're one of those bleeding hearts. Think you're saving the world? He turned back to Marcus, stepping closer. You people think you belong everywhere now. This ain't your space. And with one swift kick, Roy sent the Davis family's cooler flying. Sandwiches scattered, water bottles rolled across the grass, and Trevor's drawing, carefully colored just that morning, fluttered into the dirt. Janelle gasped. Maya whimpered, clinging tighter to her mother's arm. Marcus froze, his fists clenched at his sides, knuckles white. Years of military training echoed in his mind. Stay calm, stay focused. Words are not weapons. Roy leaned in, breath sour with beer. What's it gonna be, soldier? You gonna teach your kids to run away or fight like a man? Silence. Marcus stared into Roy's eyes, seeing not just the man, but everything he represented, the prejudice Marcus had fought his whole life, the hatred disguised as patriotism, the ignorance that wounded deeper than any battlefield injury. Slowly, Marcus exhaled. This isn't a fight, he said quietly. It's a lesson for my kids, not for you. He turned, crouching beside Trevor, whose chin trembled with suppressed tears. You okay, bud? Marcus asked softly. Trevor nodded, though his eyes stayed fixed on the scattered picnic. We'll clean it up together, Marcus said, and we'll finish our day. Because men like that, he nodded toward Roy without looking. They only win if we forget who we are. Roy barked a laugh, arms wide. That's it? That's all you got? Coward. But before Marcus could respond, another voice cut through the tension. Stand down! The crowd shifted, eyes turning toward a group near the Veterans Memorial. Sergeant Riley Matthews strode forward, flanked by 3 other off-duty soldiers. She wore jeans and a tank top, but her posture screamed authority. Roy blinked. Who the hell are you supposed to be? Riley held up her military ID. Sergeant Matthews, United States Army. And you just harassed a fellow veteran in front of his children. The teenage boy's phone stayed steady, recording every moment. Roy stumbled back a step. I didn't know. Didn't know what? Riley snapped. That respect only counts when someone looks like you? The other soldiers stood behind her. Black, white, Latino, male, female. Silent, unyielding. Roy's mouth opened, closed, opened again. He glanced around, realizing the crowd was no longer avoiding eye contact. They were watching, judging. The elderly woman with the gaze shook her head in disgust. The white couple stood, arms crossed. Walk away, Riley ordered, voice like steel. While you still can. Deflated, Roy grabbed his cooler, muttering curses as he stumbled toward the parking lot. Silence lingered. Riley turned to Marcus, her stern expression softening. Sergeant Davis, you good? Marcus nodded slowly. I'm good, Sergeant. Thanks for having my six. Always, Riley said. Janelle exhaled, pulling Maya into her arms. Trevor knelt beside his drawing, brushing dirt from the crumpled paper. Can we still finish the picnic, Dad? Trevor asked quietly. Marcus smiled, ruffling his son's hair. Yeah, bud, we can finish. This park belongs to you just as much as anyone else. The crowd slowly dispersed, the moment passing but the lesson lingering. The teenager with the phone lowered it, shaking his head. Man, he muttered, people gotta see this. He tapped upload. By nightfall, the video would be everywhere. But for Marcus, the only thing that mattered was the quiet peace of his family, back under the oak tree, proving that dignity didn't come from fighting hate. It came from rising above it. Marcus stood still, jaw tight, eyes locked on Roy Sanders. The man's face was flushed with anger, veins visible at his temples. Roy shoved Marcus's shoulder, voice sharp. What? You too scared to fight, soldier boy? Marcus didn't flinch. He'd faced real enemies in places far from this suburban park. This man was nothing compared to the battles he'd fought. I fought real battles, Marcus said, his voice calm but firm. This isn't one worth fighting. Marcus turned to walk away, his heart pounding not from fear, but from the weight of holding back. That's what I thought, Roy barked, arms wide. Nothing but talk. Go on, walk away like the coward you are. Before Marcus could take another step, a commanding voice cut through the tension. Stand down, sir. Heads turned, conversations hushed, the air thickened with sudden tension. From the other side of the park, a group of off-duty soldiers strode forward, their movements sharp and deliberate. They wore civilian clothes, jeans, t-shirts, and sunglasses, but their posture spoke volumes. Leading them was Sergeant Riley Matthews, her gaze hard and unwavering. Touch him again, Riley said, stepping between Roy and Marcus, and you'll regret it. Roy blinked, caught off guard. He scoffed, trying to recover his bravado. What, you gonna call the cuss? Go ahead, I got rights. One of the soldiers, a tall Latino man with a buzz cut, stepped forward. He pulled out a badge from his back pocket and held it up. U.S. Army Military Police, the soldier said, voice flat. We don't need the cops. Roy's mouth opened, then closed. He stumbled back a step, suddenly small. Riley's eyes didn't leave Roy. You just harassed a decorated war veteran in front of his family. Want to keep embarrassing yourself, or are you done? Marcus exhaled slowly, tension easing from his shoulders. He nodded at Riley, his voice tight but steady. I'm good, Sergeant. Appreciate it. Riley nodded back, then turned her full attention to Roy. Look around, sir, she said coldly. That man you just shoved? That's Sergeant Marcus Davis. 3 tours, Bronze Star, Purple Heart. He's earned more respect than you'll see in a lifetime. Park-goers gathered, drawn by the commotion. The teenage boy with the phone hadn't stopped recording. Roy's face paled as realization dawned. He glanced nervously at the phone, then back at Riley. I didn't know, Roy stammered, voice faltering. He doesn't look like... Riley cut him off, her tone like ice. Like what? A hero? Because he is. Now walk away, while you still can. The silence was deafening. Behind Marcus, Janelle stood tall, one arm around Maya while Trevor clung to his father's leg. The children's eyes were wide, not with fear, but with awe. Roy's bravado crumbled. His gaze darted around, catching disapproving stares from the crowd. He was outnumbered, outmatched, and most of all exposed. Forget this, Roy muttered, grabbing his blanket and cooler. His steps were quick and clumsy as he stormed off, the crowd silently parting to let him pass. The soldiers didn't move until Roy was well out of sight. Riley turned back to Marcus, her expression softening. Sergeant Davis, she said, offering a hand. You and your family okay? Marcus grasped her hand firmly. Yeah, thanks to you. The teenage boy with the phone lowered his device, shaking his head. Man, the boy muttered, people need to see this. He tapped upload, and within hours the video would be everywhere. But for Marcus, the only thing that mattered was the quiet peace of his family, back under the oak tree, proving that dignity didn't come from fighting hate. It came from standing tall and refusing to be broken. Marcus sat quietly under the oak tree, watching his children chase each other across the grass. The weight of the day hung heavy on his chest. But there was peace now, the kind that only came after the storm. A soft shuffle of feet drew his attention. The elderly woman who had tried to calm Roy earlier stood a few feet away, wringing her hands. Her face was etched with shame. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I should have spoken up sooner. I should have done more." Marcus offered a tired smile. "You did what you could. Speaking up is never easy when you're standing alone." She nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. "Well, you weren't alone. You never should have been." Nearby, the teenager who had recorded everything lowered his phone, shaking his head. "Man, I didn't know you were military. Respect. I just thought—" He stopped himself, swallowing hard. "I judged you too, didn't I? Just not out loud." Marcus met the boy's gaze. "What matters is you saw the truth, and you didn't look away." The boy nodded, cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "I posted the video, not for clout, just people need to see what really happens." Marcus sighed. "They do, but not just the bad. Make sure they see the good too." The boy hesitated, then raised his phone and snapped a picture, not of the confrontation, but of Marcus and his family, huddled together on the blanket, holding each other close. Maya crawled into her father's lap, eyes wide and questioning. "Daddy, why was he so mean if you're a hero?" Marcus stroked her hair, heart aching at the innocence of her question. "Sometimes, baby, people only see what they want to, but that doesn't change who you are. Remember that. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone." Janelle squeezed his hand. "And we'll make sure you never forget it." Later that evening, the video exploded across social media. The headline read, "Veteran harassed at park, soldiers step in to protect one of their own." The footage showed everything: the anger in Roy's face, the calm resilience in Marcus's, the silent strength of the soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't just another viral outrage moment. It was a mirror held up to society, and people couldn't look away. By morning, Roy's face was plastered across news sites. His employer released a statement condemning his behavior. He lost his job as the video circulated further. The park board, embarrassed by the incident, issued a public commitment to inclusivity and community respect. But Marcus didn't care about Roy's downfall. He cared about what came next. A week later, an invitation arrived in Marcus's inbox from the local school board. "Mr. Davis, your story has sparked important conversations in our community. We'd be honored if you'd speak at our upcoming Diversity and Inclusion Assembly. Our students need to hear from someone who's truly served, not just the country, but the ideals it stands for." Marcus read the email twice, his chest tightening with emotion. He closed his laptop and looked at Janelle. "They want me to speak, not just about service, about everything." She smiled, pride glowing in her eyes. "You always said change starts small. Here's your chance." The following weekend, the same park hosted an event titled Honoring All Heroes. Veterans of all backgrounds, Black, white, Latino, Asian, stood side by side. Families gathered under the oak tree, the same one where Marcus had stood his ground. Sergeant Riley spoke first, her voice firm. "Service doesn't come with a skin tone. Courage doesn't recognize race. It's time we honor not just the sacrifice, but the humanity of those who serve." The crowd applauded, but it was Marcus's speech that left the park silent. "I fought for this country not just because I believed in it," Marcus said, voice steady but thick with emotion, "but because I believed it could be better. Not perfect, but better. And every time we stand up against hate, every time we choose courage over silence, that's the country I fought for." The applause that followed wasn't just polite. It was raw, real, and hopeful. The following Sunday, Marcus and his family returned to the park. Same oak tree, same picnic blanket. But this time the air felt lighter. Trevor tossed the frisbee, laughing as it soared across the grass. It landed near a white father and son having their own picnic. The man picked it up, smiling as he threw it back. "Nice arm, kid." No tension, no hesitation, just people being people. Janelle leaned against Marcus, watching their children run free. Not everyone changes overnight, she murmured. But moments like this, they matter. Marcus nodded, eyes never leaving his kids. They do, and we'll keep making them happen, one moment at a time. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows that didn't feel heavy anymore. Just part of the landscape, part of life moving forward, brighter and bolder than before.